Hello again, welcome back to Cards on the Table. We're at the very famous Belfry Hotel in Birmingham with a very famous manager. It's a first, I'm delighted to say, for You Are the Ref. I'm delighted to welcome a former England manager, Graham Taylor. And Graham, welcome.
Thank you.
You can associate, well, primarily on this side, we talk about referees, but it's also important to put them in the context of the game of football and the suffering that other people have. And maybe you can associate some of what you've been through and the ordeals you've been through with kind of the traumas that the criticism the referees have.
Well,
almost routinely.
I might surprise or disappoint you, but I'm a referee's man.
What do you think of the idea, certainly that on this website Keith Hackett has championed and is pushing quite hard for, of a referee, a video referee in the stand who avails himself of the TV technology that is to everybody's benefit apart from the man who really needs it in the middle, and quietly is having a discourse with the referee on occasions and putting him right.
Yeah, providing it doesn't get to a situation where that discourse is sharp, quick, to the point, because what the referee doesn't want is a voice in his ear overruling it all of the time, and also making sure that it doesn't disturb him where then he's looking for other things and he's losing his control of the game. But I think I can see that's a far better idea for me than to have one stuck on the referee's head.
Or to have appeals from managers, which is Sepp Blatter's idea. So you don't rate that one? No.
I'm not. I think once again, I'm not going to say that the manager will win all of the time, but I just think that we've got to respect the referee's position here, and that we've got to recognise somebody is in charge of that game, and by being in charge he will get some things wrong. It's always been the case, and he will get some things wrong, but how, what are we going to do about it then? And is the next thing, if you get two things wrong in two successive games, you're out. You know what I mean? Are we going down that line? I'm a bit old school in this. I'm not, I like to think it would be so good to have referees who really enjoy the game, feel they can say things to players that makes them laugh, do you know what I mean? Have a bit of a crack with them.
And finally, the level of competence of referees, has that improved in the 50 odd years that you've been involved in football?
Fitness, definitely. The fitness levels help them. The fitness levels improves. I mean, it's very interesting. When I watch a game of football, live game of football, I'll keep my eyes on the referee, one eye watching him. Where is he choosing to go, where he thinks he might get? Is he reading the game? Because he's been involved in so much games before that if he sees, a certain player with a ball, he'll have a reasonable idea of where that ball is going to go. So he'll get that wrong now and again, of course, so he skips out the way of the ball, which always makes me smile a little bit. Like, I sometimes wonder if the players do it on purpose, trying to hit him. But no, I think we could all make the referee's job, I'm not going to say easier, meaning it makes it sloppy. We don't want that. But I think we should be all a lot more on his side. And the days, I'm not certain they'll ever come back, but the days when you could have a good laugh with the referee and you could pass a little bit of banter between, I like those days. It wasn't just the referee and the manager, it was players as well that got involved. And of course, I was at the time, during my time, from sort of just having linesmen and referees who came in when they came then to see you in your dressing room, do you know what I mean? Yeah. They would inspect all of the, I don't know, I suppose that still goes on now. I've been out of the game quite a lot really, looking at it, but I'm on the outside looking in now. So I don't know exactly what does go on, but there used to be a bit of banter, do you know what I mean? Before the game.
The common denominator of these interviews is that so many people are actually saying the same thing. So many people can't be wrong, I suppose.
Well, I hope not, because it would be so much better, I think, we don't want to be castigating the referee all the time. Of course he'll make mistakes, and of course, as I go back to the situation with the England-Holland thing, they can be very costly. There's no doubt about that, but, generally speaking, as I said at the beginning, I'm a referee's man.
Graham, many thanks. We can have a bit of banter here, and it's great to have a conversation that could have gone all day,
Yeah.
probably all night.
Yeah, definitely.
Many thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Phil.
Graham.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.